Such a strange enemy, I know. It's all in my head, but I can see it's standing in doorways down the street.
Just a quick warning, this video will contain explicit and sexual content. The video will tell some gruesome details about murder victims and crimes committed by a very disturbed individual. This is not a topic that can be treated lightly, and as such, viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, lovelies. It is Monica back with another true crime. Remember, this is for educational and documentary purposes only. Please be respectful in the comments below. This story is very heartbreaking. It actually happened in Orlando, Florida, right the city I live in. So it kind of hits home. Didn't even know it happened, y'all. Didn't even see it on the news or nothing. And that just blows my mind. This one, some other creators have done the story on her. It is the murder of Miya Marcano. So this young girl was only 19 years old. And just because some man didn't know what the answer no meant, she lost her life. I will not sugarcoat it for y'all. I really do truly say what's on my mind. No filter. And this young lady was so beautiful and had so much life to her and had so much going for her in her life. And it makes me tear up just thinking about this case. Her name was Miya Marcano. She was born April 26th, 2002. She was passed away September of 2021. So this was only 3 years ago. She was from Pembroke Pines, Florida. She was the daughter of Marlon Marcano, a Trinidadian DJ known as DJ Eternal Vibes, and Yama Scarborough, a Virgin Islander, half U.S. from St. Thomas, half British from Tortola. She was also the stepdaughter of media personality Giselle Wassy Blanche. She attended Charles Flanagan High School. She was a regular participant in the Miami Broward Carnival. I will let you know more about that carnival in a minute. She began her studies at the University of Central Florida before transferring to Valencia College, both in Orlando. She was in her second year pursuing an arts degree and worked part-time in a leasing office of her place of residence. She was a gifted student, a family-oriented young woman, and a loyal friend. These were according accounts from several of her professors. After the national attention from Gabby Petito received, the young woman's father, Joseph Petito, said, "This same heightened awareness should be continued for everyone, and I mean everyone, and that goes for you all too." That's including Miya. Although Miya has now garnered attention all over the country, sadly, it might be too late. She was missing at that time, y'all. Miya had plans to travel to visit her family in South Florida on September 24th of 2021. The family grew worried when she missed her flight to Fort Lauderdale. Now, this starts what happened to Miya. But I do want everyone to understand what she loved. She loved dressing up for the Miami Broward Carnival. She was a participant of the carnival for years. She would do the junior carnival competitions. They would dress up in headgear and headwear and in jewels and fancy, bright, beautiful costumes, and it was just so gorgeous. Now, what the carnival is, I want to explain what they say on the website, straight off the website, so I don't accidentally misconstrue what it means. Traditional carnival has celebrated in Trinidad and Brazil as a festive season which occurs immediately before Lent every year, usually in February or March. Here in South Florida, Miami Carnival celebrations begin the week before Columbus Day in October. In October 2024, it kicks off with the Junior Carnival competition on Saturday, October 5th, followed by the Steel Band Panorama competition on Friday, October 11th. In the Jovort Mass, sorry if I said that wrong, is held early on Saturday morning, October 12th, in the carnival celebrations peak with the kings, queens, and individual shows and competitions, and the grand finale in the mass band parade and concert on Carnival Sunday, October 13th. A lot of people go. You can buy tickets to go and see these amazing competitions and bands and foods. And it's an outside event and everyone loves it. I personally did not know about the Miami Carnival. And that's why I wanted to give some insight on what it was. But you will see Miya in some of her costumes, and she is just so beautiful, y'all. Now, when Miya was not answering her phone, not answering nothing, not on social media, in that September, before she went to go see her family, they got worried because it wasn't like her to not respond to them. The family asked the Orange County Sheriff to go check on her at her Arden Villas apartments. Now, they went, okay, and they couldn't get in. So they went to the leasing office and got an extra key from the leasing office to check on her. When the officer went in there, noticed her bedroom door was blocked by a dresser and that the window had been tampered with. She was last seen 5 p.m. that same day. The family drove up from South Florida, arriving in Orlando around 3 a.m. the same day. Video evidence shows the police confronted a man named Armando Caballero, a 27-year-old maintenance man who advances Miya had repeatedly rejected. The missing bulletin was posted September 25th. Right off the bat, Caballero became the prime suspect of the case. These apartments had a fob that unlocked your door. And every single time you went out of your apartment and you accessed the fob, it logged it in data. So the fob data indicated he had misused his master key to get into Miya's apartment that day. That is why the police had him in their sights, and an arrest warrant was issued. But unfortunately, guess what this MF did? Piece of crap. He was found dead from an apparent suicide on September 27th by the time the police caught up with him and found him. Police used Caballero's cell phone records to track Miya down. He had been at Timber Scan on the lake condominiums between 8 to 9 p.m. on the night of Miya's disappearance, about an hour before the family reached out to the Orange County Sheriff's Department. At 10:45 a.m. on October 2nd, in the woodline near Timber Scan, police discovered a body they believed to be Miya. They knew it was Miya because they found a purse containing her ID near the body, and confirmed by the medical examiner on October 5th. She was found tied up in black duct tape in jeans, a bra, and a robe. Orange County Sheriff John Miya clarified they found no evidence of sexual assault, and the cause of death was yet to be confirmed, that it was clear Caballero was responsible for her death. Miya's cause of death was ruled a homicide by undetermined means. The examiner found evidence of restraint but no injuries or trauma to the body. Thus, they were unable to conclude exactly how the homicide occurred. This case is a little open and shut because he killed himself. He took the coward's way out instead of dealing with taking the responsibility of what he did to this beautiful young woman. And the fact that this disgusting man one day was just like, she's not going to say no to me today, and use his key to access her apartment. And in her apartment, you could tell there was a struggle. She was trying to get away from him. Now, there was legal action and protest. The family's attorney, Daryl K. Washington, stated in a press conference that this was not Caballero's first alleged incident of harassment and questioned the thoroughness of the background check he underwent. Arden Villas posted on social media that all employees are nationally vetted and that there were no past reports filed against Caballero. Washington also criticized authority for not acting sooner. The family said they were told to wait 4 days before filing a report. I will tell y'all, way back, like in the 70s to 80s, 90s even, that was a thing. That was like a thing the cops told everybody. And us being civilians do not realize it's not a rule. It's not a rule, y'all. These days and ages, you can file a missing persons case the same damn day. And a lot of times, the only reason why police will say that to people, especially someone that's 19 years and older, because they are considered adults, they say, oh, wait a couple days. Because what if, she just ran off? Or what if something happened and she just couldn't take life anymore and she needs a break and she didn't want to talk to nobody, just give her a couple days to come home or reach out or whatever, because sometimes that does happen. But no, you do not have to wait any days, especially with a minor. Right when your kid goes missing and you cannot find them, you report it. And usually with a minor, police know it's not as, oh, they just wandered off or whatever, like adults do. And then if they try to tell you, oh, your kid ran away, no, 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 no. No. And if they don't want to do anything, you call the FBI, you call everybody you can think of to help you and get them down there to help you. But it is not a rule. It is not a law or a rule that you have to wait any time period before you file a missing person report. So, and also if you go straight up to the police and you tell them this is not like her, we are her family, we know that she just didn't run off. This is not in her characteristics. There is something wrong and really hammered into them that they have to do something. And if they don't, go to the media. I'm telling you, go to the media and that will light a fire under their ass. Okay, sorry. Residents of Arden Villa and surrounding neighborhood held a protest on October 6th for the Priss company to strengthen their security measures. And this is the company that owns the apartment, by the way. Now, these are some reactions. Her dad brought attention to his daughter's disappearance on his social media accounts, and his posts were circulated by a number of public figures in the soccer world. Due to Marcano's connections to Trinidad and the Virgin Islands, her case garnered significant attention from the Caribbean community at large. So this is what you can do as well. Get on your social media accounts. Make a wave. Miya's case occurred around the same time as the killing of Gabby Petito, leading comparison between the two, unfortunately. And like I said, I heard all about Gabby Petito, but I didn't hear nothing about Miya's. And that breaks my heart. And this happened right in my backyard. Right there. That just blows my mind. I'm still... And you can say that, it might be race related. But, yeah, unfortunately, they waited 4 days to say she was missing. And it really upsets me is the fact that the cop went in and saw a struggle. I'm going to get into that because it's in the investigation part, that there were signs something went down and he didn't even report it. Like, what the fuck? They did a memorial for her even though she was still missing. They held a vigil for her in her hometown in Pembroke Grimes on September 30th. The vigil was held outside of Marcano's apartment on October 2nd, and relatives flew in for support. British Virgin Island Premier Angie Fa and Minister Kai Reimer held a vigil in Tortola and visited her grandmother Violet Letty to give her support. A candlelit procession was held in San Fernando. Miami Carnival had a moment of silence for her as well. The family stated they hope to create a foundation in Miya's name to advocate for restricting employees' access to people's homes and the hiring process for such employees. The Miya Marcano's Foundation was officially launched on October 11th, and the family requested donations in lieu of flowers. Now, the investigation. Okay, this is when we get into the nitty-gritty, into the guts of it. All right, Orange County Sheriff's Office released a 135-page final report and had released heavily redacted reports in the months after Marcano's body was discovered. Here are some highlights from the report. One picture shows surveillance footage of Marcano leaving the Arden Villas Orlando apartments on September 24th. Miya was a Valencia College student and had lived and worked at the apartment complex. Miya was supposed to leave for Fort Lauderdale that night, but she never made the flight, which concerned her family, and they alerted the police. Another photo showed a small bookcase propped up against Miya's bedroom doorknob, which appeared to be placed there to prevent anyone from entering the room from the outside. Investigators also noticed other things that were unusual for Miya to leave behind in her apartment, such as jewelry on the floor, a bag that appeared to be the luggage she was going to use for her Fort Lauderdale trip, and her teddy bear that she never goes anywhere without. Detectives also found a pillow next to Miya's bed with a small patch of dried red blood, and the key fob data documented in the report shows her suspected killer, Armando, accessed Marcano's apartment using a master key shortly before she came home from work. Surveillance video showed Caballero driving a golf cart around the complex near Marcano's, coinciding with the times the key fob showed it was used on her front door. Now, I'm going to put in pictures so y'all can see all of this. Substance that appeared to be blood was on her pillow. Investigators said Marcano was likely killed in her apartment. Then Caballero took her body to a wooded area of the Timber Scan Apartments in Orlando. The newly released documents note that the investigators spoke to him twice before the teen's disappearance. The first time occurred as investigators were at Marcano's apartment complex one day after she vanished. The teen's family pointed out that Caballero's car was present. The victim's family allegedly observed a screwdriver in a bag, a cell phone case on the floor, and an unknown blanket in the back seat of Armando's vehicle. When speaking to Armando, he indicted to investigators that he and Miya were just friends and understood the accusations that the family was making against him regarding his past interest in Miya. Miya's aunt then began accusing Armando of sending obsessive text messages to Miya, claiming his feelings for her and trying to give her money, the report states. The same evening, 4 members of Miya's family apparently followed Armando to his apartment to see him removing various items from his car while carrying blue rubber gloves, medical type, a dark-colored book bag, and an unknown type of multi-pink colored blanket back to his apartment. Family then called the Castleberry Police Department, who made the second contact with Armando. They arrived on the scene while the teen's family remained outside of his home. An unknown male family member of Miya approached Armando and asked to search his residence to ensure Miya or the blanket was not inside, because supposedly Miya's blanket went missing. Armando agreed to allow this individual to go inside with him and with the presence of a police officer to look around. After a walk through the search of the residence and not locating anything of evidentiary value, the family member, Armando, and the police cleared the apartment. Still, investigators believe fully that Armando is responsible for Miya's death, as they point to DNA evidence found on the shirt Marcano was wearing right before she disappeared, and a bloody pillowcase. Both were found in her purse, which was discovered next to her remains. Marcano's family has also filed a wrongful death civil lawsuit against Arden Villas Apartments complex for alleged security oversights, which endangered the teen. Now, this is the timeline of what the police think happened on September 24th, 2021. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said Caballero illegally and against Arden Villas apartment policy entered Miya's apartment at 4:34 p.m. using a maintenance on-call key fob, knowing she was scheduled to get off work at the complex at 5 p.m. So he was in there hiding and waiting for her. Miya's key fob activated her door at 5:06 p.m. and went into her apartment, the sheriff's office said. This when Armando attacked her and a struggle ensued. Evidence proved there was a struggle by a number of evidential factors: the condition of her room and bed, broken jewelry on the floor, and bloodstains on a bedroom pillow and living room pillow. By 5:50 p.m., detectives believe Caballero had already killed Miya and transported her body to the trunk of his car through her bedroom window, in which Miya's roommate pointed out to detectives that her dad implemented a lock on the window that had been removed. He also positioned a storage shelf under the bedroom door handle to stop entry and exit from her room, court said. Caballero was seen leaving the apartment complex at around 5:52 p.m., and he went home where he stayed for less than 30 minutes before returning to Arden Villa's apartment complex around 7 p.m. He then called in a fake maintenance order from his created Google number for an unrelated apartment to show a reason for his return. Around 7:38 p.m., Caballero left the Arden Villas area, and though tag records, phone records, and vehicle GPS data, detectives say he arrived at the Timber Scan Apartments around 8:30 p.m., where he abandoned Miya's body from his car and placed her in a heavily wooded area that leads to a lake behind the complex. Miya's body was duct taped at her legs, hands, and neck area with black duct tape, similar to the one he uses for maintenance work, the sheriff's office said in the report. Concerned because Miya never reached Fort Lauderdale, her mother called the Orange County Sheriff's Office to do a wellness check, and the deputy found things in her room that were out of order. September 25th, 2021. Around 3:52 a.m., Miya's dad, Marlon Marcano, called the sheriff's office to come back to Miya's apartment at Arden Villas. He and other family members had driven up from Fort Lauderdale and noticed concerning things in her apartment regarding her disappearance, including a box cutter that was found in her room. The same morning, just after 4 a.m., the sheriff's office said Caballero was seen outside Miya's apartment in his car. He stepped out of his car to speak with deputies and told them he was at the apartment complex because he was just informed by a co-worker that Miya was missing. What a fucking creep. Miya's family believed they saw a blanket that looked like hers in his car, and while the deputy couldn't make the distinction if it was related to the case, he brought it up to Caballero anyway. The deputy then cleared the scene and told Miya's family to call the sheriff's office if anything changes. September 26th of 2021. Detectives interviewed 2 people, including one of her co-workers with which she frequently spoke. In both interviews, the 2 told detectives that Caballero had a romantic interest in Miya, however, she did not share the same sentiment and made it known. It says in full report, during the 2 separate interviews, they both state that Caballero sent Miya $600 through Cash App, which he tried to refund, but he kept resending the payment. September 27th of 2021. Armando Caballero was found dead by apparent suicide in Seminole County, the sheriff's office said. October 2nd, 2021, the Orange County Sheriff's Office located Miya's body in a wooded area in the Timber Scan Apartments. In conclusion of the investigation, the Orange County Sheriff's Office believes Caballero acted alone in the kidnapping and murder of Miya Marcano. Since Caballero died by suicide, the case is closed and there are no further prosecutions pending. Family and friends gathered for Miya's funeral on October 10th. Since Miya's death, many questions have been raised about safety and security, even behind locked doors. Florida Senate unanimously approved a bill that aims to improve tenant safety in apartment buildings in March of 2022. It's called SB 898, Tenant Safety, filed by Senator Linda Stewart. It is also known as Miya's Law, given 19-year-old Miya Marcano inspired the bill. Miya's law strengthens requirements regarding access to individual units, increases required notice to 24 hours, requires apartments to establish policy for issuing and returning keys, and requires a key log to be maintained with access only given to authorized individuals. The bill will now go to the House approval, and it was approved by DeSantis, by the way. And I will put in some pictures here. Now, when Miya's body was discovered, she was mostly skeletonized, so the only way they knew it was her was the necklace she wore that contained her name, Miya. It was very sad. That's why they couldn't really know if she was sexually assaulted or how she passed away because of how bad the decomp was. Now, the family of the 19-year-old, they did file a wrongful death suit suing the Orange County Sheriff's Office and 2 deputies for negligence and civil rights violations over their handling of the 2021 case. Now, they filed the wrongful death lawsuit against the apartment complex and its management partner, the Prius Company, with all sides settling out of court less than a month for an undisclosed amount court records show. Now, 2 years after her death, attorneys for the Marcano's family have filed a lawsuit against the Orange County 9th Judicial Circuit Court alleging the sheriff's office and 2 of his deputies had enough evidence to save Marcano's life or led to her discovery sooner. According to the lawsuit, Deputy Paulino, the first deputy to respond to Marcano's apartment for a welfare check, failed to treat the apartment as a crime scene, despite obvious warning signs that a crime had been committed. In the initial welfare check, Deputy Paulino did not inform anyone about the evidence of the potential crime he observed inside Miya's apartment. Paulino had significant evidence that could have led to the discovery of Miya much sooner, but the case was not a priority. Evidence that was allegedly ignored during the investigation includes blood on the pillow and several pieces of broken jewelry, according to the lawsuit, which also alleges Paulino failed to ask to search a vehicle of Armando Caballero, maintenance man at the complex, that later on found that he was the one responsible for Miya's death. Authorities believe Caballero, who was found dead from apparent suicide on September 27, 2021, had accessed Marcano's apartment without her permission. His estate was named as a defendant in the earlier wrongful death lawsuit. Marcano's father contacted the sheriff's office to lodge a complaint because of Paulino's failure to treat Miya's disappearance with a sense of urgency. Paulino allegedly shared what he learned with his supervisor, Kenneth Dell, and the 2 discussed the case over the phone, according to the lawsuit, but neither shared extremely critical information about Caballero, who'd had a heated exchange with family members at the scene with anyone before completing their shifts. Meanwhile, Dell testified he was not aware of any information regarding the bedroom window or blood on the scene of the furniture up against the door was not betrayed to him. The day after the 19-year-old went missing, Paulino returned to the Arden Villas to meet with Coleman, a security guard at the apartment complex. Coleman also advised Deputy Paulino that he had lifted fingerprints from the scene using tape and attempted to provide the evidence to Paulino, but the Deputy Paulino, with a smirk on his face, told Coleman to keep the evidence in case it would be needed later. That is just disgusting. I mean, the ego, you know? According to the complaint, discrimination against a missing woman was a motivating factor in the refusal to properly investigate. The sheriff's office had a policy, practice, or custom of law enforcement that provided less protection to missing female victims than the victims of other assaults. By not responding or purposely delaying its response, the lawsuit states. The sheriff's office spokesman declined CNN's request for a statement, citing the agency's policies not to comment on pending litigation. CNN had reached out to the deputies named in the police union for comment on the lawsuit, has not yet heard back. Last year, both deputies were disciplined in connection with the case for violating department policies. Now, Paulino received a 150-hour unpaid suspension for unsatisfactory performance, while Dell received a 10-hour unpaid suspension as a discipline, according to Wesh. Now, Dell, maybe he should have received the 150 unpaid suspension, and Paulino should have been fired. Fired. No ifs, ands, buts, or about it. That is my own personal opinion. You might have a different opinion. That's what I think. In the statement following the suspension, Miya said, managers and the responding deputies' chain of command recognized the lack of urgency on his part and asked that his role and the role of his corporal in the first hours of that incident be investigated by our professional standards division. The deputy was sustained for unsatisfactory performance and the discipline was harsh. That was not harsh at all. As a result of this incident, we are in the process of making changes to the policy that will direct first responding patrol deputies to immediately notify their supervisors and the missing persons unit in any case in which someone is considered a missing endangered person. Law enforcement did, however, have two separate interactions with Caballero before he died and after the Marcano investigation began. During Deputy Paulino's third visit to the Arden Villa apartment complex just before 4 p.m. on September 25, 2021, multiple members of the victims' families were on the scene and pointed him towards additional pieces of evidence they claim he missed during his first two visits. While Paulino was in the parking lot, a security officer pointed out Caballero's silver Ford Fusion. Paulino asked Armando if he knew what was going on. Armando stated he was currently on the phone with a female co-worker, Tatiana Shanks, who informed him that Miya was missing, which was his reason for to the apartment complex at that time. Armando indicated that he and Miya were just friends and understood the accusations that the family was making against him regarding his past interest in Miya. During this interaction, Paulino was pulled to the side by the same security officer, Coleman, who explained to him that the family observed a screwdriver in a bag, a cell phone case on the floor, and an unknown blanket in the back seat of the Armando's vehicle, the reports note. Those items alleged to have been in Caballero's possession were not followed up on at the time by the deputy. After the initial discussion, Marcano's aunt walked up and began accusing Armando of sending obsessive text messages to Miya, claiming his feelings for her and trying to give her exorbitant sums of money. There were some accusations back and forth between Marcano's family and Caballero responding to their accusations before Paulino separated them and continued his investigation at the complex. What investigation? This man didn't give an F. That is what happened. This time the deputy acceded to the family's request that he check out the door leading to the maintenance office, where security had allegedly heard some sort of noise. After asking Caballero whether he had access to the area and getting confirmation, the eventual suspect led the deputy and two other deputies through the door and the rest of the building it was connected to, but nothing was found. Paulino cleared Armando to leave the apartment complex as there was no legal justification or probable cause to detain or arrest him at that time. The second law enforcement interaction with Caballero occurred by Castleberry Police Department. 4 members of Marcano's family staked out the suspected killer's apartment in Winter Park, Florida. Later that same evening, found him removing various items from the backseat of his car while carrying blue rubber gloves, medical type, a dark-colored book bag, and an unknown type of multi-pink-colored blanket back to his apartment. According to the report, at around 8:45 p.m., a 911 call was made. Just before 9 p.m., Officer Shepard arrived and met with Miya's family. Armando, his roommate Penny Rodriguez-Torres, another unknown friend of Armando, who was present in the apartment. The document notes. The report describes the extent of that second interaction. Officer Shepard indicated to Miya's family that he was limited to his ability to provide assistance, as this was an Orange County Sheriff's Office missing person case. He further stated that he could not force Armando to allow him to search the residence. While on scene, an unknown male family member of Miya approached Armando and asked if they could search his residence. They went inside and they didn't find anything in Armando's apartment. And less than 45 minutes later, Caballero was allowed to go. Officer Shepard informed Miya's family to notify the Orange County Sheriff's Office and provide them the updated information they obtained through their surveillance. He also instructed them to not return to Armando's residence and allow law enforcement to continue the investigation. The lengthy report also contains numerous details about the relationship between the deceased college student and the man believed to be her killer, including DNA evidence from one of Marcano's t-shirts, a bloody pillowcase, and 2 other items that were identifies him as a possible contributor. At this time, there are no further investigative actions being taken on this case, and all evidence shows Caballero acted alone in the kidnapping and murder of Miya Marcano, the report concludes. So, they sued the police department, and they got the 2 officers a little bit in trouble, and they changed some policies in the police department. And then they sued the apartments, and they got an undisclosed amount. It's really horrible, the fact that they will never know the true story of what happened to her because the man took his own life. I mean, can you please at least write a letter or something? At least give these family members some type of closure. Because if something happened to one of my family members, I'd rather know what happened than wonder. They lost a wonderful soul in their life. I do want to give my condolences to the family. I'm so sorry that you had to lose your daughter in this horrible way. And the fact that this disgusting man could not take no for an answer and he just walked in there and took what he wanted. The fact that men are stronger than women and can overpower women easily, it's very scary. You know, I mean, I always have something with me in my car. I always carry it with me. I also carry, like if I'm on a long trip, I carry a knife on my hip when I go into like rest stations and stuff in case someone wants to try something or, you know, someone's hiding in the bathroom or whatever. You know, people go missing that way and it's freaking scary. I have pepper spray on my keychain. You know, it's scary that women have to think, oh, well, I shouldn't go running at this time because it's dark and there might be weird people outside. And it's not always men that hurt women. Other women hurt women. And then some women hurt men, you know? But the majority is men against women. And that's what I'm trying to get to. This man had no right to her. He totally disrespected her and the family, and then disrespected them more when he took his own life. I do want to give my condolences to his family as well, because even though they had no idea what he was going to do, they lost someone they love as well. The hurt they had to go through that he would do something this despicable, and they are living with that as well, is just disgusting. It's a sad thing for everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't find out more about Miya. That's as much that I could find out about her personally. Please, ladies, protect yourself. I'm glad they changed the laws in Florida. I mean, I've had apartments in Florida and they do have to give a 24-hour, you know, letting you know. They call you, they send a note in the mail. I've had them put a note under my door, you know, to let me know, hey, we're going to come in and check the fire alarms, or we're going to come do this, just letting you know. And if you don't want to be in there by yourself, you need to leave your apartment, you know. And so they give a fair warning now, but it's just, it breaks my heart that these things happen to women every day. And in this society, we have to protect ourselves and really think about, well, do I want to go grocery shopping at night? I need to go during the day. And even stuff like this happens during the day. It happened with Miya during the day, and no one's seen a thing, supposedly. That's just crazy. And the fact that he was in maintenance, he probably knew where all the cameras were. And that's why they didn't see him take out her body and all of that kind of stuff on the cameras. And I think there should be more cameras put up. But all I can say, ladies, is please stay safe. I love y'all very much. This month, I did not get 2 videos out. I'm very sorry. I had to go and take care of my mom after hip surgery. So I had a lot of stuff on my mind. So next month, I am gunning for getting 2 videos out. I will see y'all soon. Please stay safe. Please like and subscribe.
Living in a crowded dream, searching for the quiet that you need to breathe. Gave up on your sanity to hide behind your shadow, while you tried to take the sun down. Hearts don't ever change to gold, out there thinking that you're in the world alone. No one ever told you that you'll have to